Alright, so here's where we stand. Last week or so, I received a pull request on Melon DS integrating the original emulator's support for multiplayer over LAN using RetroArch's special NetPacket API. Now, the issue here is, well, actually, first off, this is a highly desired feature that I had planned to integrate at one point, and this saves me a lot of time, and I appreciate the author submitting this. Now, there's some work that needed to go into it before it's ready to merge. Even aside from some stylistic nits and arcane C++ rules that aren't really relevant here, one of the biggest challenges is that there was a performance hit that I've already checked isn't present in the original emulator. As we're discussing here, this pull request only manages to get up to 40-50 frames per second, whereas the original emulator standalone doesn't have that problem. So what I did is I took a trace of Melon DS running LAN multiplayer between my desktop, this machine, and the Steam Deck sitting right behind me, both connected over Ethernet. And I managed to reproduce that issue, even got the stack traces, timings, frames, and everything. I can tell you exactly when the connection was made, and well, I closed it early, so that's when the connection stopped. What I'm trying to do here now is to figure out what's taking so long. Why can't this get to full speed the same way the original standalone emulator is? Let's get started. This one's already connected, as you can see from the little wireless signal icon. Now, regardless of what the real-life connection is like, the emulator only sees a fake access point with a perfect connection. So, what happened here? Also, let's look for a span of slow frames. The yellow ones are any frame that took longer than 16 milliseconds, which is 60 frames a second. This one right here seems like it fits. So 22 frames a second here. That's not good. Now, it seems like while not all, but most of the time, okay, that's interesting. Most of the time here, in this particular frame, is spent on software rendering. So that will need to be addressed, but not today. I'm specifically interested in figuring this out. So this right here is more along the lines of what we're looking for. The rendering isn't the bottleneck here. I guess for whatever reason it took longer, in this case was due to RetroArch itself. And at RetroArch I don't have Tracy set up inside of it, and I'm not sure they would accept a pull request for that. So let's see, and 7,000 games, slower than usual. So here, receiving package from my Steam Deck in this case. This is bug. What's these tens of thousands of rainbows? Next packet line. So 581 nanoseconds here, but what's it called? One of the issues here is these are within this. I mislabeled these functions because let's see. This right here, line 96, is the core sending sending packets to the other device, my Steam Deck. Although in this case, it's not a full packet, just a request flush. Request packet. Immediately. Okay, so there's that. But this is not the model manual. This is actually. Let me make sure it's not the model manual. Wait, I can't use the filtering features here because I gave it the wrong name. So later I'm going to need to take another trace with the correct name for this, because right now these two scopes, they have the same name, but they refer to different parts of this function. So, oops. But I know that from looking at the line numbers, line 100, the biggest blocker so far seems to be polling RetroArch. Now, what does the behavior say? What is promised here? I know that what's not okay, so what's not promised is thread safety. So, at the moment, polling for responses on another thread isn't going to help us, because that would cause all sorts of absurd and hard to debug race conditions. Later on, I may want to look into submitting a pull request to make RetroArch's environment calls thread safe. But for now, let's work with what we have. So, while polling. Without waiting for anything, stop pulling, the net packet receive and net packet stop can be called. So the core can perform this in the loop to a block, but needs to handle stop getting called and also give up on it for a while. Good idea to manually flush out your packets before calling this. So if we let's look inside RetroArch and maybe see why there's so much blocking. by the way, this is why debugging looks so hard. So this is why debugging looks so useless to engineers. Because I haven't actually written any code so far, so I have no. Although on the other hand, this I'm not starting from scratch here. From the thread I referred to on GitHub, I'm going back and forth with the author on all of this. These are something else I'm working on that's not related, but which I hope to tell you more about later. Let's see. Let's find out where that actual callback is coming from. You know what? I'm looking in the wrong place. The functions I want to see the implementation for are elsewhere. They're not actually provided with this environment call. They come from... Oh, they're passed in here. So, what calls? Where shall net packet start? A very simple way to answer that. So for NetPacket interface start, NetPacket pull receive callback. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Now this so far this function right here is this trace span I'm mousing over is the function I'm looking at. Plus a couple of extra stat frames that are too thin to be interesting. Because this is a Tracy build, there's some optimization. Alright, so add input, read input from each connection. Now, get command. This field. I'm already seeing something here that gives me pause. We potentially have multiple sockets here, depending on how many players we have. Because LAN net play has mostly been tested with 2 people, but it supports multiple depending on how many players can play the original DS games. But let's see. Alright, so this returns false, and that's when it ends. Okay. See. Net play, see. Okay. So, I suspect this is where the blocking is. This is a little bit of macro use here, not something I would have written personally, but since it's here, let's take a look. Buff on red, okay, that's just socket FB. I wonder. The build of RetroArch I've been using has not been optimized. Like it's fully debug symbols, stack traces, whatever, everything. Because I tend to jump back and forth between a couple different features, and due to the way RetroArch build system is set up, it's, well, it's simply a pain in the ass to go back and forth between multiple files. So, this is what I'm going to do next. I'm going to be a bit more cautious with my scopes and labels, sprinkle a bit more everywhere, with correct names, and I will take a trace with an actual optimized release build for RetroArch, because that's not what I'm profiling, but it still has an effective performance. So I gotta do two new builds now, one for this machine and one for back there. Now, for Melon DS, that one will be built for Tracy with some optimization done to get in the way. This video is running enough now, so I will cut it.